Hello everyone, this is Cameron Young, bring you all another presentation today for my Server Systems 4220 class. Today we'll be discussing POP3S and SMTPS. So today, what is our focus? Throughout this presentation, the overall focus will be placed on the technical aspects of the POP3S process as well as SMTPS protocols from a technical as well as a hardening standpoint. So during this presentation, we will include hardening recommendations of these two important protocols, which will be used to essentially increase security functions on our systems. So what is POP3S? POP3S refers to the security measure known as Post Office Protocol. This protocol is known for being a part of the application layer of the OSI model, which we should all be familiar with as security students and or professionals. Technically, the main focus of this protective service is to offer electronic mail security. I would say the key feature of this would be the encrypted communication measures that it utilizes in order to properly protect against email type attacks. POP is activated in order to reclaim remote email servers, which is associated with the TCP/IP link. So additionally, a client must be SSL qualified for this function to operate successfully, because this is where we get a part of our security measure, for protecting the POP process. The secure socket layer is used in order to encrypt data, and it's also used as a tool in assisting the prevention of eavesdropping type attacks. So there's also plenty of other attacks that it that it protects the users from via email. It does not protect against man-in-the-middle infiltrations at this time, but I'm sure, with some type. So what are some of the technical aspects? I'd say this protocol runs on port 995 instead of the unsecure version that operates on port 110. More on the outdated in, versus the newer IMAPS protocol I found through my research, which I thought was interesting. This tool is designed in order to fetch incoming mail periodically. So I look at it as like pull technology with your emails being sent to your phone. There's a push and there's also a pull. So this particular protocol is designed to, only fetch every so often versus using a lot of energy over time and searching for mail. So POP3S on Ubuntu 18.04 using Dovecot. You would essentially run this command in a command line or whatever you use to configure your systems or write code. So sudo apd install Dovecot with a dash POP3D. And you'll want to change that port, as I previously stated, to 995 for security purposes. If it was at 110, you're not completely protected, so that's a key in this particular process. As you see on the slide, I included a simple self-signed SSL certificate is already included in Dovecot, so that's a part of the package when you download. So what are the requirements for POP3S? Updated software on the system is essential, and clearance of all possible bugs that might, be causing functioning type issues. That's essential on any computer environment. We must always keep in mind that there are new viruses and bugs always being developed. Hackers never sleep. So it's essential that we always try to protect ourselves from an updating perspective, so that we don't make our systems and our information and data more and more vulnerable. So POP3 server functioning capabilities have to also be present in order to require, for POP3S. So what are some hardening strategies for POP3S? Because essentially just having POP3S on your system and in your computer environment, it isn't enough. We must continue to strengthen and harden our, security measures as professionals and as students. So avoid spam data if ever unsure. You simply do not open the message on your email. Um, Oftentimes they say that we as the human being are the weak link and some of the vulnerable issues that we have in our companies and sometimes on our servers. Because there's certain things you can't account for. If a pop-up comes up on somebody's window, for instance, and you can't really measure if this is a continuation from the last slide. So more hardening strategies for POP3S. I said settings modifications. So use POP3S instead of the authenticated post office protocol that is, defaulted on the system in order to retrieve messages and data, via electronic mail. So you want to change that for sure. You want to ensure that the port for POP3S is 995, which would be, how we would be receiving our mail over a more secure port. We also want to set proper incoming address of the specific server. So you don't just want it to, access to come from anywhere. So next we'll discuss SMTPS, which stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, the secure version. The purpose of this protocol is for electronic mail transmission. So it's another hardening type strategy for us to protect ourselves via email. So what is it? It protects the SMTP by utilizing the transport layer level security. It includes communication verification, things like confidentiality, integrity, and it's also secured, just like the last protocol, by SSL and TLS. This particular protocol is activated and ran on port 465. If you're employing outgoing messages at a default port, which would be 25 in this particular case, for SMTP, you must modify this setting and change it to 465. So I keep reiterating that because that's a vital aspect of this particular, uh, series of protocols. Really, all protocols. If it's a safer route to go on another port, you should go ahead and take advantage of that type information. Modify the SMTP authentication setting to utilize the same data as the incoming server. So how do we enable this on our systems? So this particular case for this semester, we're using Ubuntu 18.04. So there's an application called Postfix that I found, and it seemed like a pretty good way to get certain security measures on our system without, you know, basically it's an assisting tool. So in Postfix, you want to edit your CF master CF file, and that command is below: sudo nano space backslash etc backslash postfix backslash master.cf. There are several different options for email on Ubuntu. So there's iRedMail, Madobe. So last slide we spoke briefly about how to enable SMTPS on Ubuntu 18.04 LTS version. On this slide we'll talk about Windows 2019. This was initially created for message transfer. So it offers a secure line for email messages encryption purposes, which we know will, act as a assisting agent in protecting our mail and our data and transfers. SMTP is loaded on the Windows system by default, so we don't have to, figure out how we're going to load SMTP. We want to figure out how we can harden the SMTP protocol by, and that's our next bullet point, is by so hardening strategies for the SMTPS on Windows. Server manager in the search bar, we would select, and you want to go to add roles and features. At that next page, we will use role-based or feature-based installation. Next, we will select our destination server, which is a vital aspect of it that we intend to use. In the server roles section, we'll select file and storage services, and then we want to hit next. Under the features screen, we want to select SMTP server and continue installation process. So that's going to wrap up my presentation for today. I appreciate your attention for this presentation. I hope that you learned something today, and I hope that you take something from this presentation with you in the future when you're thinking of configuring SMTPS or POP3S on your Windows or Ubuntu servers. Take care.